Morning and welcome to another learning video. In this learning video, what we're going to do is we're going to record some work I'm doing in Excel. This is an Excel model. We're building it for a used car lot. And what I want to do is go through and make this recording. I had some difficulty with the other platform for some reason, so my computer gave me a hard time. So I'm going to record on Zoom. First time I've done this on Zoom, so hopefully this works. So we're going to open the Excel file that we have. And I'm going to go to the documentation page. And I'm going to leave the formulas in here and just retype them to go on. And as I retype these formulas, we'll be able to do it. So first I'll type my name in. Then I'll put equal today, open paren, close paren. I will set today to long date. I will wrap this text for where it is because the file you're working on probably doesn't have that. Then on dates, what I will do is I'll make the inventory date equal the date we just keyed in to the other one. So I'll propagate it throughout the spreadsheet right here and bring it through. Now these are year, month, and day equations, which are basically equal year, equal month, equal day, and it's going to be equal year of the year function, and it's going to equal month. The serial number it says right here is really the digital value of the number they assign to a year starting at, I think, January 1, 1900 in Excel. And then we have equals day, and day is also the current day as well. Now, I'm going to figure out the car's birthday, and then we're going to figure out your birthday. So what we're going to do, if you don't have this, just create it. You can create it by, copying this, and I'm just going to make a sample, put it over there. You can see you just have to change the titles. That's how you get to that. So you put in the car birthday, and then we calculate the age of the car. We're going to do this with a Datedif equation. If you click like this, you hit the function builder. You see in the function builder what the Datedif function is, right? And it doesn't do it like the other functions. It's kind of like a hidden feature. It's the old function it's just such an old function, but it works so well. And so in this case, Datedif C10, C3, D11, we basically dated if, which is Datedif, and you remember the equation, was it at C10? Order matters, C10. Oh, I didn't put equals. I didn't put the equal sign. Always invoke calculation engine in Excel with the equal sign. It was C10. It took the first date, like that, comma, the last date, and then comma. And usually you put a Y value, which represents year, and it gives you the year function. Now, I know that I'm going to copy this down because I want to do it for YMD, month and day. So rather than put the Y, I'm going to make this D11. And it's basically parameterizing this equation. That's the first change I'll make. The second change I'll make is I want to anchor the 10 for this row is right there. And then I'm going to copy to the right. Quite honestly, I don't want to key in the C3. So I'm going to actually highlight the whole C3 and hit Command T on a Mac, and it will just do the whole thing and like that. So when I copy this down, it should work, and it does. So it's 18 years old, 217 months, or 6,617 days, YMD. And even here, if I'm going to anchor this column, I'm going to copy it to the right, $ here. If I copy it down, so sometimes building these formulas can be kind of iterative to see what you want, but it pays off, right? So if I take this, copy, paste it here, and I put it in somebody's date, somebody's birthday, say 10/03/1968. It'd be first person is 56 years old, has been alive for 683 months, or has been alive for 20,791 days. So hopefully they live their best life and they enjoyed every one of those. The go forward formula, you might ask, what is the go forward formula in Excel, being how they're not really doing Datedif? I mean, it's there, it's a great function, right? But you might want to do a fractional date difference and calculate something like that. YEARFRAC. And so you type in equal YEARFRAC, go like here, go to the start date and then the end date. So the start date is lower than the end date, which is actually start date is a fractional date between two periods, right? In this particular case, it's the old date is the birthday. So there's two different birthdays going backwards, and you can do a basis is a type of day count that we'll use. I'm not going to click that at the moment. I want to show you the Datedif equation. Then I want to go to the use car sheet. Here to use car sheet, I want to blow this up. I'm going to close the function builder, and I want to focus heavily on, I'm going to zoom in this section here because you may not have all this in your sample. So when you do this, we're going to go through each one of these. Make sure you have all these things. If this thing, you have this, but this thing here, as you go down, may not be at the right place, right? So because you don't have enough, you got to slide these things down, make room. So what you do is you highlight everything you want to slide down. And let's just do it old school, cut and move, cut and paste, right? Command X, go down, say 1, paste. It warns you that the merged cells need to be moved. Okay, fine. Let me cut and paste again and move it back to 17. We want that on row 17 because we want to be able to reference our formulas the same. So go ahead and create these values. You can use this. And what happens is this one here is going to be cell styles, input cell styles. And so this, you'll input number 3. This will be a 7 cell style. So you'll do that, input number 7. This will be markup at 25%. Again, cell styles, input, 20%, 10%. Now, in whole transparency, I froze the pane here. Why is my panes not doing that? So I go to view, freeze panes, I'll unfreeze them, but I'm going to freeze the panes to work on it. What I'm going to do next is work on the column set. And I'm going to, well, I'm going to unfreeze the pane for this one. Unfreeze the panes. I'm going to scroll the columns over this way. And you can see the first set of columns are right here. I made additions here, so you need to put the additions. This is the next set of columns that we have here to purchase price. Make sure you have all those. If not, insert the columns. You can insert the columns by going right click, insert, or if you do too many, right click delete to get rid of a column. And so create net sales price, which we're going to define as the net price after deductions, dealer profit, sticker price, too long on lot. That means that basically the car's been on lot too long, the age of the car, too old, it needs to be disposed of, or the final decision on disposition, which is there's the car's either been on a lot too long, let's say you've been on a lot 3 years, remember we defined it, that's too long, right? The car's been there 3 years, it's been too long. The age of the car, or if the car is simply too old. Like this car is 34 years old. People get rid of old cars, they stop working, or they finally, like after 34 years, decide they want an older car. And then the final decision, like, do we get rid of the car or not? And then we're going to calculate a car payment. So you need to add those columns. So we'll go over here. We'll start from left to right. We'll do a car ID. I'll type in TAR 001. It's checkbox. It could hit enter, but it goes down. I want to do that. Best copy will automatically fills it in. It's like an intelligent copy. You see it's telling you right here, you do the drop down arrow, fill series or flash fill. It's got all these abilities. You feel free to play with that. The date was given to you. All these were given to you. Let's go ahead and go over to the net sales price. We define the net sales price as the price. The price, I'll click on it, take a look at observation formula, pause the video if you want to type it in, but I'm going to build it from scratch. Delete and go equals the cell here times the actual markup we have, which is 1 plus the markup. I'm going to scroll over to the markup number. I'm using the left arrow key to get there and navigating. I don't have to do that. Then I close parentheses. But I want to explain this as I go through. Then I'm going to I want this to be a relative reference. I don't want the 30, I want to lock the 35. So I like to refer to locking as anchoring it, because like throwing a book, throwing an anchor, checkbox. And then here, I'm able to do that. And before I copy, remember I said I want to do a VLOOKUP. But before I do the VLOOKUP, I'm going to delete dealer profit because that's a simple equation. It's basically what we're selling for, that's what we pay. So I'm going to delete it for a minute, and I want to put in here the VLOOKUP formula because I want to take the range, because this is, look at the types, the fuel types of cars. So I want to take the range that we have here, gas, EV, hybrid, and diesel. And there's a certain deduction for each one of those. So we have to look this up. I could do it in multiple if statements, like if then, maybe a double if would probably work for that. But rather than do the ifs, and maybe we'll come back and do the if for fun. what we'll do is we'll focus on the VLOOKUP equals VLOOKUP. We'll look at what are we looking up. I'm just putting it here in this column just for play with. I'm going to copy it over. We're going to look up what kind of car it is. It's got a gas car. What's the range that we're looking up? Well, the range that we're looking up is this range. This is column 1. This is column 2. So we come over here. And so we're going to pull column 2. We want to know the deduction. Then, comma, it says, what do we want? You can see it gives us a choice here. The function builder is helping. True is an approximate match. False is an exact match. We're going to do an exact match because we have the types. We think we have the types here. And so we select that. We'll check it. And it comes to 150 bucks. All right, so that's good. Now, like I said, I was going to always copy and push it back in the other one. I'm going to highlight this, copy the clipboard, hit the X to get out of edit mode, come over here and subtract the deduction that they get. Those deductions usually are government deductions. They give it to you by the federal, state, and even city codes if the city's big enough. And if we copy it down, you watch what happens. You get errors. Okay. The reason you get errors is because we didn't use a full absolute reference here, which is Command T on a Mac or F4 on a Microsoft PC. Now with that, when I go like that, do we still get the errors? Oh, we get errors, but not as many. Why? Because on this row, it's nothing. There's no gas type. You could also have hydrogen cars and LP or natural gas cars. Those are popular too. So we're never going to get everything here. But I think the important ones are incentives that we did. We listed the incentives. We're going to just assume that those incentives for the purpose of this discussion here. We can always update the table. But for the most part, those aren't listed because nobody's giving discounts on them. So if error, this whole equation here, open parenthesis, if this value yields an error, then put a 0. Otherwise, it's all good. So like that, let's take it down. Aha, it worked just fine. Now remember, this is incorrect here. Let's delete that. We know the dealer profit should be equal to net sale price minus purchase price. Yeah, right? U5, P5. Yep, that right. Basically, how much you sell for versus those things. And there's a sticker price here, and a sticker price is basically our net sales price uses sticker markup because the sticker price might be more. If we know what we're going to really sell the car for, we're expecting people to negotiate. If they don't, they can lose 10%. Remember the 10% number? So we go equal the this number here, which is what we really want, but we're going to give it a markup times. It's a terrible practice, really. I never liked this practice. And I've worked in the auto industry, but they definitely used to have deal sheets and they would do it all the time. And I bought plenty of cars. So basically you mark it up by the sticker markup price. And you always have to negotiate this away. So like that, and you're going to want to make sure it can be copied down. You don't want to have it not reference the right cell. So you put a $sign in front of it. And you copy it down. I'll scroll to the right. I did finish the equation, scrolling back over, keeping the screen kind of large. So that was pretty good. Now, if it's on the lot too long to dispose, we want to make a determination the car's on the lot too long. So in this particular case, we did the YEARFRAC equation earlier, and right up here, let me do this first. We need some components. This equation, I let it equal the date C3, which is from dates over here. I just said equal this. And that way we had this date on the page. That way everybody can see everything on one page. If we print this report, it's all here. So it's on the lot for the average number of periods, the fractional years it's been there, is greater than B12. And B12 is, well, just go to B12, it's 3. We can change this too, this analysis. If we change it, we can do sensitivity analysis and see what the car did when we have to dispose of a car. So if equal to YEARFRAC, we put that in. Your fractional is a 3 with the other. So the way this equation works is, let's just delete it, equals if, open parenthesis, YEARFRAC is greater than B12. $12, then 1, otherwise 0. Did I miss one? Let's see. Ah, I just did a question mark. That's supposed to, it's supposed to be greater than. Okay, and we make mistakes, that's okay. Like that, copy it down. And then right here, where you click the column, you'll see on the bottom, gives you the average, the count, and the sum. So the sum is 4, because we use 1s and 0s. You don't have to use the CountA or count function. We can to different things if we want to total it out, but summing is really easy for these kind of things. We'll do more counts in a minute. The age of the car, this is going to be year B3 minus J5. J5 is the model year here. So basically year B3, year takes this date over here and grabs the year component of that date only, and to basically subtracts the model year to get something. So it's equal year. Was that B3 up in the top corner? I believe. Minus the model year, which is over here. And you see it's card 18 years old, but if you copy it down, it's going to err or do something funky. See, look at that. One more circle of references. It create all kinds of problems. You can't do that. You have to anchor everything. And the $3 checkbox. And then I'm going to like that. And you see I have no circle of references. So not doing that right really ends up with problems. Then is the card too old? Well, this is basically U5, which is, remember what U5 is? We just used it. U5, well, right there, we just did, right? It's the year of the car. And greater than B13, if you remember what B13 is, scroll over, and B13 is when is a car too old. So there's two reasons to get rid of a car. And from my experience on a car lot, sometimes the car just sits there too long. It might not even be it's an old car, but maybe somebody was smoking cigarettes in the car. That's been like a real problem. People don't like to buy cars where people smoked it, particularly non-smokers. Even if it is a good deal, they can't get that smell out. So basically, you do the equals if U5 is greater than B13, 1, otherwise 0. So I'll park there, just feel free to write that formula. Then we need to make a final decision on this. There's two conditions to get rid of cars. If it's been on a lot too long, or the car's just too old. We might have just got this car on the second row, right? But the car is 34 years old, so two conditions needs to be met. So the way to do this is to go if the sum of those two are greater than 0, then 1. So how do we do that? Equals if, open parenthesis, that's the if formula, then parenthesis again, say this plus this, close parenthesis, is greater than 0, then 1, otherwise 0. I got that right. And we just copy it down. I did this weird, I think I did it on the wrong row, but you could do the same action here, just do those two. Or I did do it here. I could take this, copy it up, and you see it copies up relative, and I could copy it back down. Okay, so it actually does that really well. Next thing I do, I want to calculate the car payment. When I calculate car payment, you see a negative sign in front of it. This is the actual parameters, but don't just type these in. Learn what they are. If you click on payment, then the function builder, you see this is the payment period and everything else like that, and it calculates the 322. So let's make sure we do this right. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go function builder. So these bigger equations, I make sure we get it right. I'm going to go PMT, because you have to be able to navigate this. And right here, insert function, and the rate is equal to, over here on the left-hand side, we have financing information. Here's the rate, but when you do this, you have to do the rate for the periods that you're doing it in. We're going to be doing monthly payments. So what do we got to do? We got to divide by 12 because it's a monthly payment. We're going to copy this down because we're going to do it by car, $. The number of periods, look what it says. It's the total number of periods for the loan. Look at the interest rate. Is the interest rate per period for the loan? For example, divide by 4 is quarterly payments. So we basically divide by 12. And then here, it's 5 years. So you see the loan. We can scroll down. Well, yeah, 5 years on the loan. 5 times that is 60, right? You can do math in a present value of the loan. It's going to be equal to what we pay for the car. That's the present value. It's today the car is worth what we paid. So That might change and get pretty complicated. The car's been a lot longer. Cars depreciate by period. The future value car we expect it to be zero, particularly for a loan, because we get all our money back. And then for the type, we want to make sure that the logical value payment either we pay at the beginning period. So if you take the car loan and you're on January 1st of the new year, it would payment type one if you pay at the beginning period. But usually people don't do that. What they do is they buy a car, they put a bunch of money down, and they pay it at the end of the period. You say zero, and that's the car payment. It shows up as a negative number, which we don't want to represent. Ah, that the present value, as I was correct, I knew right away when I saw this, is not actually what we paid, it's what the person paid. I'm glad I made that mistake to point out the difference between the two. I knew right away when I saw it, the payment wasn't high enough. So right there is what the person paid. It shows a negative dollar. Now I want to show this as a positive effect. A lot of times on financial statements, we want positive numbers here. So you have to flip the sign on payments. You can do that by putting a negative in front of it. It flips the sign. And do we anchored everything positive the right way? We can copy that down, and that does that. So those are all the columns. Now I'm going to focus a lot on these things here, but what I want to do is I want to lock the window view here before I can do freeze panes. That way I scroll down, we can do things. So I want to do inventory cost, which is sum of column P, and I can actually scroll over here to column P, and you can see there's P. So if I were to come over here and just like equals sum, and I'm only going to do all these because I know that sometimes close parenthesis for the next one, this is high, so this is equal max, and we're still doing P. This is our inventory cost analysis. Average purchase price equals average, then again P. Now, number of cars available. This is interesting. I'm going to use that car ID that we set up here. These are cars available. This is a current report. And so the way we could do this, I make this an elegant formula. You can see the equation there. But what I'm going to do is delete it. And we can simply go equal count A. And we can count everything here. And you see it gives you 206. But if you come over here, you can see if we hit up here, N down arrow key, it's 205. Why? Because the title on the row is here. Now, I put different things in titles all the time. What we're going to do is I'm going to make this quite eloquent to make it kind of dynamic. I'm going to go minus count A, open parenthesis, and go up to 1. This way, all the header rows will get erased from it and we'll double count. So that's 205. We saw there was 205. This way, when you add cars to the bottom, it's not a big deal. Date of oldest arrival equals min, same thing we did before of this column here, F. This is the arrival date of the car. So you equal min. I think you could do that. Number of cars to dispose of is 4. That's the sum of T, right? Equals sum. And we come over to T. Then time allowed on lot. Time allowed, this is input. 3 is the input. You can calculate the input on 7. And then total disposals, if you did it right, is sum of WW. Equals sum of column W over there that we calculated at the 163 number. And you have the 163. And I'll come back to it for a second. Then go down here with markups 25, 20, and 10. You should have already had that in there. Then we want the average age of the car. And this is all going to be computed across the age column. This is average for UU. Same thing. This one is max, which is the oldest car. It's the maximum of the cars. The newest car. That was interesting. I guess there's a car with 0 in there. So it's a min number. We got a 0. And then the median age is 21. And the mode, the most popular age is 34. So somewhere in there between 21 and 34, people are really getting rid of those old cars and buying new cars. So I scroll up and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to the left. I'm going to unfreeze the panes because I want to work in the top row. And in the top row here, I'm going to create an integer, which is the integer function. I'm going to click the payment here in function builder. And so the integer is going to be the sum of dealer profit. So we're going to focus all the integer round up, and dealer profit. I'm going to show you the difference between them all. So The integer here is sum of R. We've done these sum formulas already, so I'm just going to copy this because we're going to do it over and over again. And we say OK. Now, when we get to the round function, you can go to Function Builder and round, and you click it here. The number is round RR. And you can decide how I want to round it. I can round to 0, and it shows 259, right? Which is the same as integer. So that's okay. We can leave it as 259. We change the way we do it. Then I go to round up. The roundup function, make sure you're in here. You see how the function builder stays on it? Paste in the RR, and how do I round up to 0 integers? But how about if I round up to 1? Ah, see, 1 integer. Or I go to -1, right? Look at that, 260. So we'll go shows the rounding here to go one way or the other. And do a profit when we do a pure sum. So you see different things go different outputs. So you have an integer, a round up, and just a pure sum. All things that you could do with this equation as you see how those are. So I hope this was a good learning video. It's a good crunch to go through here. I enjoyed doing it.